Welcome to the Get Your Ass Up podcast. I'm Tony, the closer. I'm here to inspire and motivate you to never give up on your dreams. As a former NFL athlete who overcame personal setbacks like going to jail and bankruptcy, I turned my life around to become one of the top salesmen in the world. In this podcast, we'll feature celebrity guests, successful entrepreneurs, and my incredible network to give you real-world advice on how to achieve success in all aspects of life. Whether you're looking to build a successful business, achieve financial freedom, or simply need some motivation to keep pushing forward, we've got you covered. Man, we've had amazing celebrity guests on here like Dame Dash, T.I., my boy Joe Hayden and Edgerrin James, Andre Berto, and more, sharing their stories and insights on how to reach their full potential. Listen, so are you ready to get your ass up and achieve your dreams? Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast with me, your boy Tony, the closer. Let's dive in. Let's change your life together. Let's go. Welcome to the latest episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast, where we bring inspiring stories from people who've overcome obstacles and achieved success. Today, we're excited to bring my new girl, Candess Correll. Yes. Former Washington Redskins cheerleader. That's actually my favorite team. Y'all should know that. Like, you know, I'm a huge Redskin fan, diehard Redskin fan. Ain't won nothing in forever, but you was cheering for a losing team for a very long time.
And I had a great time.
How many years were you with the team?
I was there for 5 years.
5 years. So 5 years of, I'm sure, like feeling like me in the last 30 years of my life of not being able to win. But shout out to Candid. She's a Pro Bowl cheerleader in addition to that, right?
That's correct.
Pro Bowl cheerleader, and now still dancing and inspiring other dancers.
Anybody for real, women,
yeah.
Men, anybody who still wants to pursue dance or has never pursued dance. So I just teach adult heels classes now. So I'm still kind of tapped into the community, but I don't actively work as a dancer anymore.
That's what's up. So first off, like, thank you so much for taking time to come. Like, I know you got to get out of here in a little bit to go catch your flight back home. So this was like really not even a scheduled podcast, but I instantly wanted to ask you a few questions and then highlight, you know, who you are and how dope you were. First and foremost, being a black cheerleader in the NFL, I want to talk about just like what was that like in general, being able to be in the NFL as a African-American cheerleader?
I feel like, as of a lot of things in Washington, D.C., like black NFL cheerleaders or just black professional dancers and prominent women wasn't abnormal. In fact, like when I was on Redskins, it was like about, I think we did the math, it averaged about like 67% black cheerleaders. Like there were more black cheerleaders than non-black cheerleaders on the Redskins, which was very, and Commanders, I need to stop saying Redskins, which is very,
they're the
like,
Redskins. That's they're the Redskins.
I mean, I'm not passionate about the name. Actually, I was encouraging for the name change. I was surprised, but I was team name change. But a lot of teams back then, it's changed now, but a lot of teams in the NFL were not like that. But we were so loved because we were very like the Chocolate City Girls. Yeah. So I mean, I never felt like that was unachievable. You know what I mean? I looked up to and I knew that I could be a Redskins cheerleader, which is a privilege.
All right, that's super dope, right? Being able to come in, you're saying obviously there's a bunch of African American women on the team. But you did something that not a lot of women were able to do. You actually made it to the Pro Bowl as a cheerleader. You got a ring.
I do.
Oh, shit. I didn't know they give you rings for the Pro Bowl.
They do. It's not clean, so don't judge. But, yeah, just like the Florida flower, right?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think it is because it was in Orlando back then.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
So dope. How was the Pro Bowl? What was that experience like?
Actually, funny story, that was the shittiest game of my life. Like, it was raining the entire time, but that was just the actual game. I didn't care about the actual game, per se, because the honor was so, like you said, and I'm flattered, like, so monumental. If you do the math, there's only a certain amount of there's only a certain amount of dancers that get chosen to be even, like, Division I dancers, which, God, thank you, I had the chance. Even from that pool, there's only a certain amount of dancers that can then go to the league. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this. Yeah. Those numbers are really small. In fact, like, the teams average about 30 women. So 30 times, how many teams?
32 teams.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of women in the world that can even, like, get in the boots.
Right.
And then, I'm not sure if you're familiar. You probably are because he has done so much research that only one cheerleader per team gets sent to the Pro Bowl every year.
Yeah.
And it's not impossible, but you typically do not go ever again. So it's a one-stop shot, but you only choose one, the girl of the year, to go from 30 women of each NFL team. So like, even those chances are smaller. So I don't know. Even I think about it and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so crazy that so many people thought so highly of me to be at the same level of athletes like Tom Brady.
That's dope. What, like, from regular season to the Pro Bowl game, what kind of was the differences in being in the game? What type of like activities differ from what your normal task as a cheerleader would be?
That's a good question. So Pro Bowl. So normally, with at least when I cheer for the Commanders, we were very.
You cheer for the Redskins, girl.
We were very. You're not gonna get me in trouble on the internet.
The new name is the Commanders, but at the time you was with the Redskins.
No, factually, I was a Redskins cheerleader.
Okay, I seen your bag. It was Redskins on it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
And so we were very involved in our community, like because our team was so shitty. Like we were like, at least they have really hot, amazing cheerleaders, and so we were always in the media, like. I really did feel like I was a pseudo celebrity of DC when I was cheering. So when you go to the Pro Bowl, I was already kind of used to the movement because you don't really sleep. Like your schedule is literally sun up to sundown. You smiling in people's faces, kissing babies, signing autographs, and then dancing as well. So I was already used to that kind of lifestyle. It was just more so. In fact, I want to be honest. I think I worked less Pro Bowl week than as a normal Redskins cheerleader game. I actually think I worked less.
Okay.
I slept more.
You get some rest.
Yeah. So, but all that to say, like, it still was pretty busy, but being on a team where I'm going to give them their flowers. They did market their cheerleaders extremely well, clearly. I was used to that schedule.
Were there, like, in your opinion, like, any biases, in the past about Black cheerleaders actually making it to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah. Even on Washington. I prefer to say Washington. Even on Washington, I want to say before I was the Pro Bowl cheerleader, there was not a Black Pro Bowl cheerleader for about 7 years prior. And even before that, like, it's only a few of us. Mm-hmm. And again, the cheerleaders have been around for decades. And so when I was Pro Bowl, it was a thing that, oh my gosh, Washington finally sent a Black girl. Because you have so many Black girls, and we are known for having beautiful Black girls. So many beautiful Black girls on the team. Why don't they ever go to the Pro Bowl, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's going on internally? Because it is an internal vote. What's going on internally in the organization? So when I finally got it, people was like, oh my gosh.
How did that feel for you? Of course. How did it feel for you, though? Were you excited?
Yeah, I didn't know. Actually, oh my God, I have to send you the video, and you have to plug this into the.
Yeah, send it to me.
So it was so funny. So it was my third season, so I was still pretty young in tenure. I had no idea. And they announced the Pro Bowl cheerleader halftime at the second to last game of the season, so pretty cold. And so my mom had like some church event the night before the game. So I went to just support my mom. I was like, oh, I got tickets to the game. Like, you and my brother want to come. And she was like, no, we think we're going to chill because it's really cold. Whatever. I go to the game, literally not even thinking nothing, like not a Pro Bowl. It's a normal game, whatever. I'm working an event before the game. Like I said, we always working, just signing autographs or whatever. And I see my mom going up the escalator. My whole family, my mom, my sister, my brother, my dad going up, and my boyfriend at the time, going up the escalator. I was like, hey. And I ran into them. I said, hey, I thought y'all said y'all wasn't coming. They was like, oh, yeah, we just changed our mind because my little brother wanted to come. I was like, oh, okay. Didn't think nothing of it. Halftime comes. They have you line up like on the 50. And, oh, my God, this is like kind of corny reading it back, but I felt really emotional when it happened. They was playing That's My Girl by Fifth Harmony on the Jumbotron. And it was like the Pro Bowl cheerleader, and they put my face on the Jumbotrons, and a camera came, because I was just like, whatever, and a camera came from behind, and I just like freaked out, threw my palms, ran all the way around the fields, and the cameraman could not find me, so they just used the aerial camera to get the footage.
You was too fast?
Yes, and so it was like one of the either the Washington Post or some news publication was like, I think the cheerleader ran the most yards that game on Washington because we lost really bad, of course. New
Figures.
So it was I'm gonna send you the video.
Make sure we get that because it'll be dope to add that.
Yes, and everyone was like, I can't believe that crazy Redskins cheerleader had the audacity to run on the football field like I'm gonna go to prison or something. But yeah. It was very, very fun.
So thinking about your time back then, like in the NFL as a cheerleader, is there anything in particular that like is the proudest moment, or like is that moment probably your proudest moment? Is there a game or something that you remember that stands out?
Pro Bowl is definitely one of them. I think that on a team, a lot of my proudest moments were like, because we got the opportunity to travel overseas for military appreciation tours. It's like, I think I was in Alaska, like completely random, just doing, again, an appearance, whatever. And like little girls come up to you and they're like, oh my gosh, like I remember seeing you at a game when my dad was like stationed, whatever, at Andrews. And I'm like, oh my goodness. You're like, yeah, like I was you for Halloween. And it's like her mom like pulls up a picture of her wearing like a Redskins t-shirt and like Pom-Poms. I'm like, I'm not even a real celebrity. You know what I mean? So like those moments, the impact that you hear of like little girls all around the world, little black girls who want to be cheerleaders all around the world, it's something that I feel like I hold true to that experience more than a Pro Bowl nod. But the Pro Bowl nod, don't get me wrong, like obviously that's some bad bitch shit.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Like I noticed you like mentioned like how you're inspiring young black girls to, want to be like you. Like,
if they want to.
What type of advice would you give to the young girls who aspire to be in dance and want to break into like the big leagues, getting into college and then being able to have the professional career?
I feel like the common denominator with all of those is you have to be super confident. Like it's corny, like obviously like be confident is like a thing, but like really hold true to who you are, who you know you are, and the person that you want to be. And not negotiating those boundaries and knowing what you want to do and do what you need to do to get that. But know that obstacles are going to happen. And it's kind of just how you kind of dodge them punches and still kind of go through.
Is there like a regimen or something that you do to kind of like, really help separate yourself from others? Like you go into these cheerleading events or dance events, and there's hundreds of girls trying out for these, 30 spots or whatever that you have on the team. I know confidence, we hear the confidence piece, but like what's Candess doing when you walk in the room, Candess? Like how are you separating yourself? What's the that's going, that people going to feel Candess when she walks out the room? Like what are those things that you do that really separate yourself?
I feel like if we're talking specifically, I think best for like the dance, even cheerleading, pro cheerleading space, I feel like knowing what your job is. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's a job. Or you're training for a job. What is your job? And as an NFL cheerleader, your job is to support the boys, support the game, support the franchise. So when you go for these opportunities, how can I, because all it is marketing. How can I market myself? Even like if you're not doing NFL cheerleading, let's say you're doing music videos or concert dancing or even ballroom dancing, how are you marketing yourself to fit that job title? So I think that what makes me stand out as I progress throughout my dance career is that I just did the assignment. You know what I mean? Like I always got the job done. I knew my job as a Redskins cheerleader was to make the franchise more money. So I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. So let me figure out how I can also benefit off the situation. Like you gonna definitely make some money off of me, but let me figure out how I can also grab something. Maybe it's not always monetary. Grab something from you, and that's with I feel like all dance pass, or I feel like that's how all dancers should think.
Okay.
They don't though, but they should.
Give them the game. All right. Daniel Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
He's been under a lot of scrutiny and heat recently. And the allegations are screeching hot. Like
it's bad for Dan.
Wow.
It's bad.
Tell me
Take a
the
sip.
atmosphere. Tell me the work atmosphere, like as
I
far
don't
as
think it's
being
gonna
a
end well for him.
like. What was that work atmosphere like? Being a cheerleader and hearing like the things that I'm hearing is like crazy. So I just
Yeah.
I'm kind of like wondering like are the allegations true and like what was that environment like for you as a cheerleader there?
I'm super happy to talk about this topic. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. I want to make it clear that I speak from a place where that was not my situation. I'm gonna be fully honest. I'm gonna be fully transparent. I had a blast as a Redskins cheerleader. I was not, of course, like normal like work relationships can be a little like, you know what I mean. But I was never outright disrespected. I felt like, and I felt like this is a privilege, but I felt like the organization did really value me individually. I feel like I saw the value in the situation, and they also in turn saw that. And also, I was very confident, and you wasn't about to fuck with me, nobody. And so I feel like they respected that boundary of me. Everyone, the whole situation involves or situations. So I want to make that clear that like I'm not speaking from a space of personal experience, but I do know for sure through people confiding in me with my own two eyes, with my own two ears of all of the things that were discussed in the media that I'm sure we'll get into. And it did make for a workplace situation that was a little like just weird. I think that's the best way that I can just put it. Like, yes, I had fun. I had great people behind me that supported me. I got what I needed out of the organization, but it's always kind of weird, especially like looking back as I'm a little older, like being knowledgeable of so much corruption and still being there.
I hear you use the word weird, but what was the atmosphere like with other cheerleaders and employees around that time?
Cheerleaders were very close. We actually used to like kind of have something that we used to say, and we would be like, we were always on Cheerleader Island. So we were always very, even physically in the stadium, kind of pushed away from the rest of the franchise. So the cheerleaders were always very close. Like a lot of the girls, like if I ever get married, they'll be bridesmaids, like godmoms to my children. Like I think that NFL cheerleaders are the best women in the world, genuinely. And so we were good. Our coaching, our team, our photographers, like everyone involved in the cheerleaders, like we all kind of understood that assignment. But we just never really like. I feel like we were always so far from the other part of corporate that they had like some perception or, you know what I mean? Like they didn't really know us. We didn't know
The
them.
the the allegations that I read were like almost like it was like they were pimping out the cheerleaders to ticket holders and um, whoever would come on these trips. It seems like it was like the Washington Post. I think I read said that there were trips that season ticket holders and people would be on and cheerleaders are being taken advantage of or being basically prostituted out. Was that true?
It is true. Well, it's what I've heard of is true, and I think that as we'll see, I'm saying like what I said in the beginning, like I don't think it's looking good for Dan. I mean, like I think that the truth is going to come to light, and though I didn't live it, just the facts that I do know from my experience, like I think that the truth will show that is true. It did not happen to me. Obviously, I've been on the trips. I've seen the facts. I don't need the public investigation. Like I lived it.
Mm-hmm.
It is true.
Wow. Never mess with you. Never.
No, not me.
What? How did that make you feel? Like kind of hearing that was taking place.
I wish. I mean, the thing about it is that actually, like, my first, because the calendar trip happens like maybe like 2 months into the season. So you make the team around like April. And then, like, you immediately go on the trip because that's when you're the hottest. That's when you're the skinniest. So they're like, I'm sorry, I have to take pictures of you. So we'll get the calendar. But the calendar trips actually are the best part about being an NFL cheerleader. So I'm not talking shit about them at all. But my first trip as a rookie, I was 21. So I was still really young. I had actually missed my college graduation for it. It was to Costa Rica. It wasn't the Costa Rica trip, but it was to Costa Rica. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, wait. Why are all these random people here? But I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? Like, we would have special events to where they would maybe close down the resort and it just be the season ticket holders. It was like, oh yeah, like it's like a not raffle. It's definitely not a raffle. Like on the website back in the day, like if you pay a certain ticket price, you can come on the all-inclusive cheerleader calendar wherever, because it's international every year. If you pay the right price, you don't got to be a ticket holder. At least I don't know for sure. But if you pay the right price, you could have come on the trips with us. You can hang with us with our events.
And come to the room? Like,
no.
How that work?
Well, that's not in the agreement. You know what I mean? That's not in the ad.
You're like, all right, how much does it cost to get on the trip and get to come to the...
But, like, we did establish close, like, genuine relationships, not just with, like, those people, but we did establish relationships with a lot of our, like, our team, our clientele, like the people around us. So a lot of our fans, like I know a lot of our fans, or my fans, it was not like that. I know a lot of Redskins fans on first name basis. Like I know their children. So it wasn't, as I grew to be on the team, I didn't see it as uncommon until I would hear different stories, from different experiences of those same, like sponsored, I guess, because that's what we would call them, sponsors. LOL. Literally, I'm sure somebody or one of y'all smart enough to find like the old screen grabs of the website. That's what they call them. Sponsors. Tag the sponsor. Who's tagged the sponsor? No. Like if you go on like the old like redskins.com websites, like I'm sure, I don't know, the internet's forever. You can find like the actual like advertisement like on redskins.com.
So it don't
Isn't
say
that crazy?
It don't say like the cheerleader name or nothing like that, but get you a cheerleader. No, I'm just playing.
Well, it's actually funny. You remember? No, this
because
is
like
crazy.
in like the cartoons back in the day, they would have like something that like be a subliminal in a like Lion King. It might pop up sex or something like that.
No. That's what I'm saying.
So they was putting it on the website like get a cheerleader for.
So on like if you go on like a sketchy like website, whatever, and on the side it'll like have local ads, and then it'll be like this one porn ad. It'll be like MILFs available like a half a mile away. Get to know her here. On the Redskins website, I kid you not, and I think I still have screen grabs. It used to have like the small scrolling ads of our calendar pictures, and it'll literally be like, click to get to know me here. But it'll be just, but it would just be our professional bio. So it was a troll. I mean, it will have like our photos, like our videos too, but it will be like, get to know me here. And then be like, hi, Candess, I'm a software engineer, and I've been on the team for 5 years, and I don't give a fuck about, da-da-da.
They was like they was like using like the baby arrows guide.
Who's that?
The arrows guide is like the upper echelon Tinder. It's like you just buy your girl. You click on the profile, you buy your girl.
Well, I mean, but you weren't buying anything. You were just
if you were sponsoring.
If you're sponsoring, you're buying the experience. Let me be specific.
So let me ask you a question. When did you obviously being a dancer, being in the NFL, tons of fans, did you have any weird stalker
all the time to this day? I really it's hard because now I just recently got into real estate. I have a public phone number. Oh, I get every single day. I get some really weird Redskins fan from back in the day that think he can call my phone, and I'm like, it's a Google.
I'm gonna make sure I give you some safety tips because as a woman realtor, I've always told realtors that one of the most vulnerable places when you go to a showing.
Oh my God.
And I remember a few years ago, I actually put up a video on YouTube where I gave women safety tips because there was a young lady who I think her boyfriend was mixed in something, and they used the girlfriend knowing that she was a realtor. They brought her to the house and they took her life.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to make sure women have some real good tips that they understand when they go into showings and I really recommend definitely always having a partner with you.
Yeah.
I'm just in the mindset now for women definitely in 2023. You shouldn't go into showings alone. I know a lot of you are very, very attractive women. Realtors, you do a good job of advertising yourself. You're showing your pictures. You're showing your location. It's easy to see where you are. And you could get one person that has an obsession or is sick, and they take advantage. So I think like every realtor should go to showings and have somebody with you. More importantly, when you go to those showings, you need to have your location on.
Right.
I think like making sure like the understanding of being on point and being aware, like of your surroundings, like exits, like not going to showings after certain times. So daylight showings only. If somebody is not available for.
Well, I hate that we gotta do that.
Yeah,
like,
but I get, but you got to.
Because it only triggered me. We was like only daytime show. But like, you know what I mean. That could be a sale if he only like. What if he only working 9 to 5? So it's like we always kind of gotta find, and you're very right.
That means he got to come on Saturday.
Yeah, but what if he got kids? His kids got soccer.
See, that's the reality is that
I know, but I'm saying
I say safe than sorry.
You're right. You're very right.
Safe than sorry.
I know,
because
but I be like, it's a mixed bag sometimes.
And you got to be okay with that. Like I think that's one of the things. Like that's the trigger because I know I can lure you in if I know that you're only focused on your bag.
No, I'm
and there's sick men who are literally knowing, hey, this woman is going to be coming in here. She's going to be 120, 150 pounds or less, and I can bully her.
Flattered.
Like, huh?
I said I'm flattered.
But I'm just saying the men will size you up. They know they can take advantage of you. And that's just, I want our ladies to be comfortable. Real estate is like one of the most powerful tools. I know so many young realtors are coming into the business and excelling in the business, but there's some great risk that are involved because a lot of these men right now aren't safe, sane people, and they're doing things that they're taking advantage of you ladies. So after I saw that, I always make sure I always tell our realtors, just like, make sure you on point. Hey, if you in the state, make sure you strapped.
Right.
You should be,
very supportive of that.
You should be strapped at all times. Have a knife, a pocket knife, have a taser. You have to be able to defend yourself and buy time. That's the reality of like an extra 15, 30 seconds can be the difference of having your life or not. Like being able to get away from somebody and be able to call for help is really, really critical. So I always say safety first. I always want to think about, when I leave my house and if my significant other is leaving the house, the number one thing I want you to do is be able to make it back home safely.
Right.
So keeping that in mind, like, hey, we go into these places and we got to deal with homeowners. We got to deal with people who might be going through stress in life or whatever. So we don't know what somebody might be thinking. Right. So I know. Definitely want you to be safe.
Yes. And so I do find that in the NFL, it was even stronger. Of course, you know what I mean? You're way more accessible. And now, we advertise that we'll do appearances at a bar for an away game, or obviously we're going to be at the Redskins game. So I was always, I knew who I was.
You guys are considered sex symbols though. Like that,
absolutely.
Like that's the thing. Cheerleaders are considered sex symbols. So
I love that. I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it. Like, I think that, let's just call this, like, at least cheerleaders at the time. The NFL cheerleaders now are different. But during that time, like, I thought especially the Washington cheerleaders, I thought they were like Victoria's Secret angels growing up. And I wanted to, like, that was like my version of being an angel. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, duh. But, like, that's fun. That's part of my experience, at least. And what about it?
Is there anything that you in your years that you would have changed or wish would have happened differently?
Ooh, that I would have changed. Yes. Now that I think about it, I do think that sometimes I regret not kneeling around the Kaepernick season. I did not. Oh, you judging me?
Yeah, y'all left Cap out there by itself.
That don't sit well with me. I never be honest. I don't like that about myself. Well, I don't like that about that version of myself.
I had a chance to meet Colin last year here in Florida, and he's such a good guy.
I believe you. Man,
this dude was so amazing. Like I told him afterwards, I said, it's not many men that I would say, hey man, you made me a fan, and just watching his mannerisms, how he carried himself, like you gotta think about it. And I'm friends with like Des Bryant and a couple guys who in the midst of the kneeling situation, they were very vocal about not taking the knee because they had to take care of their families and all these different things. And you know, the reality is, like I said, is I think like black athletes let Colin down. Like anybody anybody that was in that space at the time had an opportunity to kind of like really cloak him, and because he was the lone wolf, it was easy to isolate him. So I think that's definitely one of the things. Like when I witnessed like hearing some of the guys who just that played at the same time who've later voiced kind of similar stances, like you just said.
It was hard. It was definitely difficult
because you feel like you could potentially lose your job.
And I wanted to be a cheerleader so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, because it was still early in the movement, and I hate that term, but you know what I mean. It was still early in what was going on. I was like, maybe we can make an impact differently. So we instead started to volunteer at inner city schools. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And showing up to their events and their football games. So we was like, it was still really early in what he was standing for made sense for the world. So it was like, maybe we can do something else but not lose our job. Mm-hmm. But still make just of an impact. And which I think that I'm still really proud of us. Like, obviously, like, I think that my heart was there, our hearts were there. But I think that I wish I would have just been a little bit more brave. Because I don't think I would have lost my job.
You think you would have lost it?
Yeah, no.
You don't think you would have? Knowing that work environment, all the things that I've heard.
No, it sounds crazy to say, but I don't think I would have. Like I said, I think that they loved me. Maybe I'm delusional, but
you would have broke. You would have broke the internet if you would have did it.
I think that this is my first time saying this on camera, but I don't care. I really do think this way. Like, I think that I like really was the queen of like that era of cheerleading.
You would have broke the internet if you would have took that knee, because in DC taking that knee, oh shit,
right?
Oh shit, if you would have took that knee in DC, you. You would have ruffled a whole lot of feathers, and boy, I'm talking about you would have been on the front page.
For sure.
You would have been front page.
I've been on the front page before. And I didn't die.
Yeah, this one would have been a little bit different attention.
I agree. And that's why I think that I was so scared. But I wish that, like, the person that I am in myself knew that I would be good regardless. Mm-hmm. And at the time, like I said, I did love being a cheerleader, and I wasn't quite done yet. So I wasn't quite ready to risk the situation anymore, or not yet. Sorry.
All right.
So I sounds a little bit more brave.
But once again, we grow.
Yeah.
We live. I think that hearing you even mention that is powerful still. Mm-hmm. I mean, because that's the thing I hear many people say is like, "Hey, man, like going back, yeah, I would have done it differently." Mm-hmm. Because it was a significant thing. I mean, Colin is still he won't ever play football again in the NFL. We know that. Like he
seems happy. I think his path.
Like, I think he's good.
Made clear.
Yeah. Anything like? Give me one thing like that we looking forward to from Candess in the coming years, months. What we got going on?
Coming years, months. Can I answer both?
Yeah, sure.
Coming months. Let's start with coming months. I think I know. Ooh, this is my first time saying this on camera too. I do want to phase out of dancing and phase into real estate in the next coming months minimum. Okay. I
thought dance is life.
It is. But again, we were talking. I don't know if you got this on camera or not. We were talking about how I don't got time to. Social media takes time. We were just talking about my social media following, and so does real estate and dance. And a lot of times, like, dance takes up so much of my time and mental energy, and I'm just not as passionate about dance anymore as what I'm growing into with real estate. I just rather dedicate more of my time to real estate for like 2-3 years. We'll see. I don't think it'll be like forever. Like, I think I'll just pop up and teach class every now and then, or pop up and judge, or pop up and do this for dance.
Okay.
But I would like for my thing again to be real estate. I feel like my thing all my life has been dance.
Well, you're sitting next to the real estate guy. We can help
you. I know.
You.
How ironic is that?
We can help you definitely get going and turned up with that. So we'll be building anyway.
Sure.
You in the DMV.
For sure.
If anybody needs a realtor in the DMV area, go holler at my girl.
I got
you right. Candess, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You've been a pleasure.
Yes.
This is a dope interview. And,
I think it was so good.
Yeah, I can't wait for everybody to get to see it. And I really appreciate your time. You're a joy. So thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Right. Yay.
That's a wrap.
Perfect.
Real quick. Look into Candid, camera here, Candess, and say, hey, I'm Candess, and I'm on the Get Your Ass Up podcast. Tune in.
Okay. Let me know you're ready.
Whenever it's on you. It's on you.
Wait, say it again. I'm Candess. You know, some kind of.
I'm on the Get Your Ass Up. I'm on the Get Your Ass Up show.
Oh yes.
And come check me out.
I'm Candess. I'm on the Get Your Ass Up show, and y'all better come check out this episode. It's gonna be so good. We are dropping some juicy tea, so y'all better check it out.
Good job.
Period.